Welcome to Raider Football Review. Hi, I'm Tag Wotherspoon, along with head coach Jim Palazzolo and offensive line coach Tom Powell. And gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Tag.
Thank you, Tag. It's a pleasure being here.
Nice to have you with us, Tom. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the performance of the offensive line this season. You have gone on record, Coach, as saying that the offensive line has played more consistent than any other part of your football team.
Well, yeah, I've tried to, tried to get the media to say it a couple times too, that I've really felt like all along that the most consistent group of all the positions been that offensive line. They have really done a great job for us. And people have asked, why has Mark developed, and your receivers are developing and so forth. And I've tried to make the comment that basically they've caught up with our offensive line. Those kids have been playing. In fact, when we're back at 1-3, or 1-4, I guess we were at one point, 1-4, and we were losing some games. I commented to Tommy that I'd hate to be an offensive lineman on this team right now, because I'd really be wondering what else I would have to do in order to be successful as a team, because the kids have really played well, provided great protection, and we've been very efficient in the scoring zone when we have to pack it down in there and get the ball in the end zone in the running game. So I've been very impressed with that group and the job that Randy Poletto and Tom Powell have done in bringing the group along.
Tom, let's discuss the keys to the success of the offensive line this year. What sets this group apart as far as what they have accomplished up to this point in time?
Well, the big thing is the leadership we've had from our three seniors. Dave Lassen has played well over the last, the whole season. He's playing at a caliber that should give him an all-conference selection. Gilbert Samia, who's been a 3-year starter for us. Eric Moore, who's been a 4-year starter, and this week playing his 36th, or started his 36th consecutive game, which is a real tribute to him. He's a 2-year team captain, and the leadership they've provided has just been remarkable. And then plus, our younger players have been pushing. We've had competition at every position, and they've bought into everything that Coach Palazzolo and our whole team has been pushing.
You also have some depth at the position, which also is kind of a luxury. And as you mentioned, you have some young pups, so to speak, waiting in the wings.
Our freshmen have come in here and just had a ball. What they've done on the scout team, we had some of them playing for us, and then our three guards have really played well. We've had the 3 of them competing every week. It's really been a part of our success, I'm sure.
With the flex bone, the stretch bone, with what Southern Oregon is doing offensively, tell us a little bit about maybe some of the things that the offensive line is expected to do that might be different, say, from your typical offensive line because of the offense you're running here.
Well, I think the one word that comes to mind is versatility. They have to be tremendously versatile. We've run a variety of fairly sophisticated triple option blocking schemes, and then we have several pass protection schemes in a drop back phase of our game, and then also a sprint out protection, play action protection. So the kids really have to be versatile. I mean, here they are chasing linebackers around on one play, blocking for the triple option, and then setting up in a pass stance and protecting our passers. So I think versatility is a key ingredient, and I think that they have to be intelligent people as well as very physical people, because of the sophistication and the variety of things that we're doing with traps and counters and dropbacks and sprint outs and all kinds of things. I mean, so they have to be versatile athletes, and they have to be a bright group, because we expect a lot from them.
Southern Oregon has featured some outstanding offensive lines through the years. How does this group compare to some of the other groups that you've worked with, Coach Powell?
One thing we're blessed with talent at every position, and that's a real key. But beyond that, we've had such great work habits starting from the end of last season all the way through our winter conditioning, during the spring class, and also during the summer. Just these people put them upon themselves. They wanted to be a good team, a good unit. They've taken great pride in that. And again, the talent is the real key. And they've developed themselves. We have people that have been in our program now for 4 or 5 years. They're playing. They know the system. And it lends a lot to the success we're having.
Coach Palazzolo, how good is this group? I mean, how well have they played this year?
They just played really well together, and again, we have little nuances and little weaknesses and that we know about. We try to overcome those, but for the most part, it's just a very talented group, gifted group of players. But more importantly, I think is they just play together. They play real well together, and offensive lines need to do that. I think the other thing that that comes to mind is I don't really want to claim resourcefulness on our part, but when we were able to get Constantino Romero and Lonnie McDonald for their senior years on the defensive line, that afforded us the opportunity to bring Doug DeGroot over and play center. So not only did we bolster our defensive line, but we asked Doug DeGroot, who had been a defensive lineman his whole life in college, to come over and play center. So we've just been resourceful. Dave Lassen is the most improved football player that I've ever had as a coach, from a guy who just really needed development in all areas, and he's come along so well. Barrett Smith is a very gifted guy who has come back to us from Texas Tech. Jared Gale is another self-starter, and the beat goes on. And then, of course, Eric Moore and Gilbert have been with us for 3 or 4 years. So it's a mature group of guys that have really come along. And then our young kids, the future is very, very bright. I don't really need to draw any comparisons from past groups because we've been blessed with really solid offensive line play. But this is a good group. They play well together.
Tom, as an offensive line coach, what kind of things do you try to do in the off season when you're getting this group ready for the upcoming season? Because you mentioned earlier that this group has provided a lot of leadership for this football team. But what did you guys basically do from the end of last season until the start of this season as far as getting prepared for the 1993 campaign?
The big key for an offensive lineman is strength, and that's where we get started at in the weight room. We start January 4th, whatever day we get back to campus. We lift all the way through the spring, the summer, and the strength. These guys, they've worked together. They got in incredible shape, strength-wise, and then the agility part, working with the jump rope, doing some football skills, getting the foot movement going. And that's, I think this group has done that more than anything else, so more running in the off-season with their weight training.
Okay, and you talk about this group being athletic. I think that really shows when you play Hawaiian football against the defensive line. Talk a little bit about that and how the fact that the offensive line has really dominated the defensive line in Hawaiian football. First, tell us what Hawaiian football is, and then tell us a little bit about what goes on when the offensive line battles the defensive line.
Well, Hawaiian football is a game we started for conditioning. I think it's been 5 or 6 years ago now. And what it is basically football with no rules. You can have more than one forward pass.
Well, we've heard that you make up the rules because...
Maybe that's some of the success we've had.
That's right. That's something to do with the success.
But no, they have a lot of fun with it. They get a chance to touch the ball, which they don't normally get to do. And they enjoy it. Their skills really come out in that game.
Okay, let's take a look at some highlights based on what Southern Oregon's done the last 3 weeks. It won't be highlights from Hawaiian football, but we'll talk a little bit about what the Raiders have accomplished during their 3-game winning streak. And let's go back